Listen, I don't know why the countdown's not working. We're just going to go for it. We're
Okay.
live. We're recording. Life isn't perfect. We're not perfect. Here we are, okay?
Right.
after the day that I'm having, we're rolling with it. I don't know why it keeps stopping. That's the first time that's happened. I'm sure I'm doing something wrong, but I don't really care. I'm a real person, and so you're going to see all of my flaws. So, my next guest is here to talk about the Bears. I'm super excited about the Bears because I feel like there's so many things happening, so many good things, new things, different things. And so I can't wait to like get your opinions on all things Bears. And I have a couple of cool questions that I'm just curious to know how you all are thinking and feeling. But before I do that, I would love for you to just introduce yourself. You can tell us as much or as little as you want to. And then I would love to hear what makes you a fan. When did you become a Bears fan? How long have you been supporting them? And, just a little bit about your fandom.
All right. Well, what's happening, my beautiful people? This is Nestradaumus1 at Twitter. Twitter handle again at Nestradaumus1. My name is Devori Nesby. I'm an avid Chicago Bears fan. Been a Chicago Bears fan since birth, actually. It's been a birthright. My father's from Chicago. My uncle, who passed last year in October, was a diehard Chicago Bears fan, and me and him were really close. So we just keep
Nice.
the tradition going.
Okay.
So been a Bears fan since birth.
Awesome. Do you have any traditions? Like you said, keep the tradition to going. Like, do you go to like every first home game? Do you go to like a certain matchup every year? Like, do you have any traditions when it comes to being a fan?
Oh, traditions. I try to get to every game at least. I try to get to at least two games a year.
Okay.
When especially with me living in Detroit, Metro Detroit, and the Chicago Bears being in Chicago, whenever they come to Detroit Ford Field to play the Lions, I always go to that
Go to
game.
that one.
Or
Okay.
if it's even before when it was at the Pontiac Silverdome, I would always try to make my way in there to check out the Bears against the Lions. So,
I
um,
love that.
on another podcast that I have on the Big and Bright show, good buddy of mine, Jason Rutley, he's a diehard Lions fan, and we were co-hosts of our Big and Bright show, which we're bringing back later on this year. But
Good.
we always try to make it a thing to where his Lions, my Bears, and we always try to check it
Hmm.
out together. So
Yeah. And I'll have Jason, either Jason's episode will either air before yours or after yours because you're both in the
okay,
same division. So
okay,
it'll be kind of be cool. So they can hear, two friends coming together to talk about their respective teams.
absolutely, absolutely.
So that's awesome. So tell me how free agency was for the Bears. Obviously, being a Steelers fan, for me, the Justin Fields, acquisition was huge for us, and I'm super excited that we were able to. I won't say steal him, that we were able to bring him on over to Pittsburgh. But how else did it go for you all? Did you lose anybody that you were hoping to retain? Did you get anybody that everybody's super excited about? What are you all's thoughts right now?
I am probably of the select few that are not on board with this Caleb Williams thing. Um,
Oh,
it's
breaking
cool.
news.
It's cool that we got him and everything like that, but I was pissed when we traded away Justin
Oh,
Fields. I was livid because we gave him literally nothing to work with while he was here in Chicago.
yeah.
Absolutely nothing. And we was expecting him to make miracles out of nothing, and Justin Fields did just that. He made us competitive. He made
Hmm.
us respectable during a rebuild. And the way that I believe that our management handled him, the way I believe that our coaching staff handled him, the way that I believe that our Chicago media treated him
Hmm.
was downright criminal
Yeah.
into a sense, and it was down and to the point where it was just downright disrespectful how they were treating Justin Fields. He deserved a lot better. Um, Say what you want about him. Say what you want about his win percentage. I mean, I'm sorry, the quarterback doesn't win games by himself.
Nope.
Say what you want about his completion percentage. Say what you want about his passing yards. He had nobody to throw to. He was throwing to the likes of Equiminius St. Brown and Dante Pettis.
As
Come
no
on.
as ones. As ones.
Exactly, as number
Yeah.
ones and number twos. So what are you expecting them to do? Then you finally give him DJ Moore for one season, and you see DJ Moore put up career numbers.
Yeah.
Yet, and we were still, a couple blown games away from making the playoffs and retaining Justin Fields. And the crazy thing about that is the defense gave those games up. We'll go to the game against the Lions at Ford Field. We were up 2 scores. Should have won that game, but the defense gave it up. We can go to the game against the Denver Broncos. We were up 3 scores. The defense gave that game up. We can go to the game against, the Cleveland Browns. We were up. Defense gave that game up. So, I mean, what are you expecting? Then you're expecting Justin to come in, to come in after the defense had given up, 14 to 17 point leads. And then you're expecting him to march down the field with these cast-offs disguised as number ones and number twos, and then want to blame Justin Fields because he's pressing to try to win, and it ends up in a turnover in the end, and it's all Justin Fields sucks. Nah, that ain't the case. I tell you what, like I said, I'm part of the Chicago fan base, and I will root for whoever is at quarterback. They better win 11 games, and I leave it at that. With this schedule coming in and how we have the 29th ranked schedule, Caleb Williams is coming into a situation where I don't think any quarterback has ever been set up better than Caleb Williams has been set up. He has not only DJ Moore, he has not only Keenan Allen, he has not only Roma Dunze, not only Cole Kmet, not only Gerald Everett as a tight end, not only does he have DeAndre Swift at running back, not only does he have Johnson at running back, not only does he have Khalil Herbert at running back. He has a plethora of weapons that he has going into this season that Justin Fields just downright didn't have.
Nope.
And if you take Justin Fields and put him on this roster, remove Caleb Williams and put Justin Fields on this roster, we're talking NFC Championship, folks, whether you want to believe it or not, okay? Again, we gave Justin Fields DJ Moore. DJ Moore put up career numbers. Now, if you take Justin Fields and put him in this offense with 3 prolific, number 1, we're the only team in the NFL that has 3 number 1 wide receivers across the board. DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, and Roma Dunze. These will all be number 1s on anybody's roster, hands down. Okay? We're the only team with 3 number 1s at wide receiver. They not like us. As I keep saying, they not like us. So, again, we better win 11 games. If you're saying that this quarterback that we just drafted is better than Justin Fields, which, again, the jury is still out on that. He has not yet taken a snap.
He hasn't done anything.
Exactly. But if you're saying that this quarterback is better than the one we had, then the wins better exponentially increase this season.
How many wins did you guys have last year?
We went 7-9 last year.
Okay.
Those 3 come from behind losses would have put us in the playoffs.
Yeah. It's funny. I have wanted Justin Fields for probably 2 or 3 seasons. I think we played you all. I think you guys came to Pittsburgh.
Yes,
it was like a Monday night game.
Yes.
And that night I said, oh my God, if we could have Justin Fields. Like, I think y'all's offensive line at the time was not very good. I don't know if it's gotten any better. And so I've been on the please Justin Fields, like if we could find a way to get him to play for Pittsburgh. And at the time, everyone was like, you guys are never going to get a guy like that. Like, good luck,
And you got him.
Yeah. And so we got him. And I'm with you. I thought last year he did everything he needed to do to stay there. Yes. I thought he did everything he could to keep the games close and sometimes winning those games.
Yes.
I think he showed that he was electric. I think he showed that he can throw the ball. I think he showed that he was calm under pressure. I think that he knew the city wanted him out and he didn't give a damn. I want that guy, and he's still young and, we'll take care of him in Pittsburgh. We like to win and we're going to set him up for success. And that's why I was like, bring him on. Listen, fine. If y'all don't want him, send him our way. And then what was it? Like a conditional 7th potential 6th round pick if he plays X amount of snaps or whatever. And I'm like, that's a steal. I mean, we'll take him immediately. So,
I still say to this day that the Bears will rule the day. They will look back at that and regret moving on from Justin Fields. They will regret it. I promise you. People say that I'm crazy and that Caleb is all world. Again, something has to be said for big play games, the ability to show up in big games. Again, like I said, the Caleb has to prove me wrong.
Yeah.
He has to prove me wrong. Shut me up and I'll shut up. But
And
not
you
saying
would
I'm
love
not
that. You
supporting.
would love it.
Right.
You'd be like, great, thank you.
Absolutely. Not saying that I'm not supporting my starting quarterback. However, I'm still a little torn on the Justin Fields thing. And I believe that Justin Fields is going to take the Steelers to the Super Bowl one day. He will. He will. That's just it's just proven. Again,
That just gave
earlier
me
in his
chills.
career, it didn't work out in Georgia. They didn't want him there. He left. He went to Ohio State, took him to national championships.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Deja vu all over again.
Yeah. Listen, as a Steelers fan, I'm excited. I know Steelers Twitter, like when we got Wilson, I'm one of the few people. I posted a video on my channel and I was like, we're going to get Wilson and Fields. I don't know how we're going to make it happen. And people were like, okay, like stop with your football takes. You're being ridiculous, and I was like, no, like, minimum deal for Wilson. And I had it all planned out in my head because it made sense.
Yeah.
And so then when it happened, I was like, I told you. Now watch it. Now watch it work. It's like a perfect situation, in my opinion, for both of them. They're in a perfect situation. I'm a Steelers fan. I like Tomlin. I think they're in a good spot with Tomlin. He's going to get the best out of both of them, I believe. And I believe both of them are poised to use the Steelers, in a professional term, to show how great they are and to show what they can do in the NFL. And I'm glad that my team took the chance. And I'm glad that I can say, like, those are our quarterbacks and we're going to do what we need to do to make sure that they're successwell.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel.
Absolutely.
So,
you are spot on.
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
They need to start calling you the predictor.
I know. Yeah. Well, my other prediction, like I'm going to say it because I've said it when I talked to that fan, is my other prediction was the Falcons winning the NFC South this year. So we'll see how that holds. Because that division, it's a whole different conversation. But anyways, that's my other kind of big, bold prediction. I will say, I will pat myself on the back and say, I also said that Jonathan Brooks is going to be a sleeper. And he was the first running back taken off the board with the Panthers.
Yes.
So anyways, just throwing out some of my things that I said
Absolutely
in the past.
And correct.
Yeah. So tell me about the draft. I know that you mentioned some of the guys that were drafted. Obviously, Caleb Williams, first round. Obviously,
Romo Doomsday.
Yeah, so he first round. How else did you all do in the draft? I mentioned before we hit record, you guys were, I think, one of the few teams that drafted a punter, which, okay. But how did you feel like you did in the draft? Were you left like excited? Were you left like, okay, I don't know what we're doing, but all right, let's see how this works? How did you feel when it was over?
I'm I try to be optimistic about the picks. We grabbed the tackle there out of Yale. Then we turned around and doubled down in the fourth round, grabbed the punter out of Iowa. I can understand that pick due to the fact that you want to pin off opposing offenses down in their own, up against their own end zone. We have a punter that can actually do that now. Our punter before, Trenton Gill, he was okay, but, we had punts of 25, 30 net yards. That's not really doing.
Yikes.
Yeah, I know. It was kind of bad. So, we got the kid out of Iowa. He's pretty much was known as the punt god, outside of Ariza, who actually just caught back on in the NFL after those allegations that he faced. So, I was excited about that. That was probably the third pick I was excited about. The tackle that we got out of Yale, he's going to be a project. What I'm saying? He's going to be a work in progress again, just for him getting stronger, getting acclimated to the game. I think he could start out as a good depth piece. Okay. And then, of course, we grabbed Booker, the edge out of Kansas. And again, I would like to say that his measurables and intangibles are off the charts. Same way as they were with Javon Dexter last season, coming out of Florida, that we put at D tackle, and Javon Dexter had a hell of a rookie season. And he really came on down the stretch towards those last 9 games. So, a lot is left to be desired here with our draft picks. Again, like I said, we only had, I think, 4, so we'll see. we'll see.
Yeah.
But the first
Why did you
two,
guys already only have 4 draft picks? Who
yeah.
did you
Well, we traded a draft pick away to the Buffalo Bills to grab their backup center that we're going to make our starting center.
Okay.
And that left us, with 5. We had 5, and then that left us with 4. And then, of course, with those 4 picks, we had to take what we had to take with those 4 picks.
Gotcha.
So,
Okay.
they weren't, according to our general manager, Ryan Poles, he wasn't that enamored with the talent in this year's draft, going beyond the second round. So, we'll see. We'll see how it plays out. Did he play his hand correctly? Only time will tell. And that
Yeah.
goes that goes from the quarterback position to the wide receiver position, which I think Romo Dunze is a stud. And I think that he's just as good as Marvin Harrison Jr. You couldn't go wrong with either one of them. Both big body wide receivers, fast, has mad body control. So we'll see. We'll see how this turns out. But as far as the draft picks, anything, we didn't have a pick in the third round. So, rounds 3, 4, and 5, when, we go from there and see what happens.
Yeah. That's so interesting. I guess I just never realized that you could not have 5, 6. Like, obviously, common sense would tell you you can actually trade away all of them. I think the Rams did one year.
Yes.
And they only had 2 or 3 or whatever,
Right.
and they were like,
Yep.
screw all these other ones. Like, give us some guys.
Exactly. They needed impactful guys.
Yeah.
And I do believe in that draft, we did pick up 2 impactful day one guys right away with Caleb Williams and Romo Dunze. But again, Caleb has to show it. Yeah. He has to show that he's the real deal now. Again, the schedule release should be coming out here within the next hour or so. And I believe our first game is against the Tennessee Titans. And then our second game is against the Houston Texans on Sunday Night Football.
Oh, the baby Texans.
Yeah, that's gonna be that NRG Stadium is gonna be rocking. So that's a hostile situation for Caleb and the guys to show some moxie and show what they're made of. If we can go in and punch the Texans in the mouth and come out with a W, hey, we're on to something,
Yeah.
But again, he's gonna be tested. He's definitely gonna be tested for real against that Texans front.
What are the Bears like? What are the fans saying? Are you in the minority where you're kind of like, let me see Caleb Williams work? I'm not sure. Is everybody kind of in that boat, or
they are, but they just don't want to admit it because everybody's sipping and slurping the juice right now.
Okay, fair. Which is listen, this is a good time of the year to do that, right?
Absolutely,
like,
yeah.
Everybody's in shorts and t-shirts, running around, looking great, throwing perfect passes. Everything's
Absolutely.
like it's butterflies and rainbows right now.
Absolutely.
Okay, fair. Tell me about your offensive line this year. Do you feel like you guys? I know that you mentioned the center. How? Because I feel like last year, because like I said, I've been scouting Justin Fields for a while, in my mental scouting department where nobody listens to me. And because of that, I've thought of some things with him. So how am I frozen?
No.
Oh, I can't hear you. Hold on. I think okay. So I hear beeping in my ear.
Uh-oh.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine.
Okay, let's see. It was me. Okay, can you hear me now?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, I can hear you. Yeah. Like, listen, since we're here and we've now malfunctioned, this is my second computer. My first computer, it's sitting right here. I don't know what it's doing. It's making all kinds of noises. And so what I think is happening is when it comes back, I disconnect from this and go to that, but it's not working. And now it's black again. So that's why I'm having so many issues. But listen, this is the Keep It Real episode. So here we are. We're gonna make the best of it. And people could probably hear you. I just couldn't hear you because my AirPods. And so I was just talking about the offensive line. How do you feel good about the offensive line this year? How do you feel like it was last year? Like, do you feel like you guys are progressing with the offensive line?
As far as the offensive line, I would say is to be determined. We have a all-pro left guard, in Tevin Jenkins. Right guard in Tevin Jenkins. We have an all-pro, perennial all-pro right tackle
Okay.
And our young guy, I just can't think of his name right now that we drafted. I'm drawing a
It's all right.
brain fart, but our right tackle that we just drafted out of Tennessee last year, he was all rookie team, and so our left guard, left tackle situation is where it's been shoddy. Left tackle gets beat sometimes with speed rush. Our left guard is always he has personal things going, or he's always hurt. And then our offensive line played a lot of musical chairs last year because we
Okay.
had a lot of guys in and out of the lineup. They were never fully healthy all year. I think they probably got some work together. Probably I'd say about 2 games throughout the whole year. So, again, like I said, Tevin Jenkins and Darnell Wright are right
Another
tackle.
guy.
Darnell
Okay.
Wright, our right tackle there. That right side of the offensive line is solidified. It's from the center, left guard, and left tackle is where it gets shaky. So the right side is solidified. It's where the left side it gets a little shaky there, but it's pretty massive. We'll see what happens. Again, like I said, we traded for the guy from Buffalo to come over and be our center. And then, of course, our left guard, which we picked up from the Titans last year, and our left tackle, Braxton Jones. We'll see. Again, like I said, what a difference a year makes, right? So hopefully those guys can stay healthy and become a continuing continuity, something that Caleb can stand in the pocket behind. So
yes.
we'll see. I mean, but they will give Caleb something that Justin Fields never had, which is protection.
There it is. What concerns do you have this year? Or I guess let me redirect that, because I know I hear what you're saying about Caleb Williams and stuff like that. Would you say that is that your biggest concern, that he shows up, or how is the defense looking this year? How are you feeling about?
Is stout. The defense is stout and stellar. Again, they finished top 5 in the NFL.
They usually do.
Yeah. Especially going down the last 8 weeks of the NFL season, that defense finished top 5 in the NFL. I want to say top 3. And takeaways, sacks, pressures, and just total defense. They were number 1 in run stops. They were number 1 in run defense, and I think they were like number 5 against the pass. I'm not worried about the defense at all going into this year, especially if Eberflus, our head coach, keeps calling the defense. Not worried about them, not one bit. The thing that I am worried about is that offensive line on the left side. How does that hold up? And also, how does Caleb Williams process all this thing? Because there are going to be growing pains with him being a rookie. Is Shane Waldron going to be able to simplify the offense for him and get that ball out quick? They're going to be quick reads. I hope he's not gun shy, because again, it's going to come. It's going to come fast. Some quarterbacks come in and it's like they never had a drop off, but they said Caleb is a fast processor. So we'll see. He's a good processor of the defense, can recognize and diagnose coverages and get the ball out quick. With us operating with 3-1s, we have the ability to put Keenan Allen in the slot. If we can put Keenan Allen in the slot and run him across, and let him be the safety valve for Caleb Williams, then we shouldn't have anything to worry about.
So what you're saying is 100% accurate. And I think that it's the old conversation of NFL versus college football. Because I think that a lot of college football fans don't watch the NFL as passionately as a lot of us do. And so they see something great in college and they're like, oh my God, he's great in college. He's of course going to be great in the NFL. And it's like, that's not how this works. Especially with quarterbacks. Honestly, sometimes the quarterbacks where you're kind of like, he was okay in college, actually show up to the NFL and it just clicks and they get it differently. And some guys that did really well in college show up to the NFL and it takes longer than we think it's going to take. And so I like when the Chicago Bears are good at football. I think when Chicago Bears are good at football, it makes the NFL better. It makes the NFL better. So I want to see it. I want him to do well. Obviously, I don't want him to do well against the Steelers ever. But, overall, like, I want to see him successful because, like I said, I think the Bears being good, the Lions are good. Green Bay with Jordan Love, they've, got some things going on. Minnesota, they're going to they're working. They're working on it. So yeah, I hear you on that. So I know that you mentioned a couple of games that have come out on the schedule as of this recording. as you mentioned before, the schedule is not supposed to come out for like I think an hour and a half or two or something like that.
Right.
They'll make it a huge spectacle and whatever. I won't watch any of that, but I will be looking at probably 10 o'clock at night, and I will take my little highlighter and I'll be going through figuring out what I think. But knowing who you play home and away, knowing a little bit about scheduling details. I know you already mentioned the Texans. Is there any other game on the schedule that you often look at and go, okay, these guys, we have these guys? Or how do you feel? How have you felt lately just looking at the schedule and your competition?
Looking at the schedule, again, 11 wins.
Okay.
At least 11 wins with this roster. I'm not holding no punches. I'm not giving anybody any breaks. I don't care that he's a rookie because, again, we saw what C.J. Stroud did last year. Went to the second round, went to the divisional round, went from the wild card to the divisional round and gave it a go, against one of the best teams in the NFL, the Baltimore Ravens. So again, and I believe that this team is loaded offensively and defensively. It's no more excuses. I don't want to hear it. You told me when you got rid of Justin Fields that Caleb Williams is better than him right now. I need to see it. I need a return right now. I'm not waiting till next year. I'm not waiting till the year after because, again, these guys that we have on these contracts are going to be coming up for contracts in another year or two.
Mm-hmm.
You got to re-sign these guys. So, look, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it. He better be good. And that's all I'm saying is he better be good. And we better make the playoffs. If we don't make the playoffs with this roster, somebody's getting fired.
Okay.
I'll tell you that now.
Is there a way where you could win 11 games? Probably not in the NFC. You probably can't win 11 games and not go to the playoffs, though, I don't think.
No, you still, unless, so many teams are just godly good.
It's usually AFC problems. It's usually us that we're like, oh, yeah, you won 10 games. No, that's not enough. 11, you're on the bubble. Somebody needs to lose. So it's different. So, okay, cool. I hear you.
Barring any type of miracles happening, nah. Again, like I said, one of the games that I'm excited. Again, Thanksgiving Day, Bears and Lions. Thanksgiving Day.
Ooh,
that's going to be a huge one. That's going to be a huge one, I think, and that's going to have some. That's going to have some division implications. You know what I'm saying? And for the North, that's going to have some implications there. Again, like I said, weeks, I think it's 15, I think it's 14, 15, and 16, or 15, 16, and 17. We have, weeks 14 and 15 are, I think 13, 14, and 15, 3 straight are division opponents. Week 13 is against the Lions on Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then, of course, earlier in the year, I think it's from week 8, 9, and 10, or 9, 10, 11. It's all 3 divisional opponents.
Is that what they're doing this year, backing them up like that?
Yeah.
I don't love that.
I mean, you got to come to play. These games are going to matter. You know what I'm saying? You won't be able to drop these games. So let's see how it works out. You know what I'm saying? This is big boy ball right here. So got to come to play, So, like I said, the London game against the Jaguars, that should be a gimme.
I'm glad that you brought that up. So as a fan, and this is not, I didn't tell you I was going to ask you this, but I just thought about this because I have so many thoughts with these international games. Mm-hmm. How do you feel about your team playing international games? Do you love it? I feel like it throws off their rhythm and it just knocks everything off. And once they come back, I've seen teams really not be the same because it just knocks you off I don't love it. I get the NFL is going to do it. They don't care what I think, but I'm just curious to know like how you feel as a fan with it.
They come back. It's cool to, but then again, you got to watch the game at 9:00 in the morning, all of that. It kind of blows, but, as a fan, which I plan on going to this London game, I mean, it'd be fun for me, but you know what I'm saying? For them, I don't know. It all depends how they have it scheduled. Hopefully they have it scheduled to where they come from London and roll right into their bye, which would be perfect.
Usually they do that. So usually they do get the bye, but what happens is like they're there for a week. They're there for a week and then they play the game and then they get a bye week, but they still have to travel back home. So usually when your bye week is like it starts, you have to come back home, come down off of that, the time zone. It just, I don't know. But again, they don't care what I think. They don't care about these athletes. Let's keep it real.
Right. They just want the money.
They just want the money.
Cash
So so for the business, I get it. As a business person, I get the business, but I just think that there's a better way. So I was just curious to know like what you thought about that. Is there anything else you want us to know about the Bears? They need to go 11, at least win 11 games. I heard you loud and clear. Will you be keeping an eye on Justin Fields? Are you one of those people that's like, take care of him, please? I'm cheering for him. Like, make sure he's good? Or are you one of those fans that's like, he's gone, it is what it is, he's now a Steeler, and we're good?
Take care of Justin Fields. You've got something special at quarterback. I will be watching Justin. Anytime a Steeler game, I can catch a Steeler game when the Bears aren't playing, I'm watching.
Yeah.
I am buying me a Justin Fields Pittsburgh Steeler jersey.
Oh, yay.
I love Justin Fields, man. I really do. I appreciate everything he's done for this franchise. I love Justin Fields when he was in Ohio State. So, I'm not going to stop being a fan of the player just because he doesn't play for my team anymore. And you could be a fan of both. Again, like I said, Caleb has to prove it. So I can still be a fan of Caleb Williams and still support Justin Fields.
Yeah.
No different than when I loved my Chicago Bears, but love Michael Vick. No matter when Michael Vick played for the Falcons or when he played for the Eagles. I was a Michael Vick fan, so I watched the Falcons when he was there. When he wasn't there anymore, I watched the Eagles. But when Michael Vick and the Eagles played my Chicago Bears, I rooted for my Chicago Bears. I still want to see players do well, man. I just believe that Justin was given a raw deal. But Pittsburgh and all my Pittsburgh Steeler fans, my coworker and a guy that I work with every day, Adam, he is a diehard Pittsburgh Steelers fan, and he gave me a terrible towel that I keep in my locker at work. So I definitely, I told him, and as I tell you, you have something really, really special in Justin Fields, and you're gonna really, really love him. You're gonna really love him because he gives it his all when he's out there.
I'm excited. He's a winner to me. He's a winner, and he knows what it takes. And my favorite thing about him that I think is underrated with NFL talent, because the NFL is so special, is how you play on a terrible team.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying like, obviously you guys had a great defense, but like offensively, like when you're in it and it's not happening for you.
He can make it
every week. Yeah. But every week you're grinding it out and you're trying, like I said, the people who know me and that are really close to me are like, I cannot believe you spoke this into existence. Like, I cannot believe you, like, I just can't believe it. Cause all year last year, I mean, I remember the rain game where then he slid like in the rain. And I was like, I can't wait till he slides in Pittsburgh. Like I'm telling you, I've been talking about this for a couple of years now, and I'm excited.
You should be.
I do also just want to say that, I meant to say this on the record as a Steelers fan. My friend who's a Ravens fan who I talked to about, I'm like that with Lamar Jackson. I didn't appreciate the way they treated Lamar Jackson out of college. I didn't appreciate that they were trying to turn him into a wide receiver. I didn't appreciate that they were acting like they shouldn't pay him. I didn't appreciate that they were acting like they could get somebody better. And I just feel like Lamar Jackson's underappreciated. And so I hope he does well. Now, against my Steelers, absolutely not. Everybody else, though, I'm a Lamar Jackson fan. Like I want to see him go out there and prove everybody wrong and do all the things that I know he can do. And one day look at all these people and just laugh and just be, and he hasn't changed who he is. And I love that. Like, be you. You've made it. You don't have to change. Be you. Right. Like they're not going to like you regardless. So anyways, let me get off my tangent. Is there anything else you want us to know before we end this? I do just want to say, if you want to also shout out the podcast and things that you're doing, your Twitter handle, anything else you want to throw in there for the people that are listening can go find you.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. You could definitely go find me. I do a Three Kings of the Midway podcast with my Chicago Bears. Me and Dan and Roy. We are at 3Kings_Midway on Twitter. And you can also find it through my Twitter, which is a Nestradaumus1 on Twitter as well. I have the link to all of our podcasts and everything on there. We try to drop a podcast every week, barring given the Chicago Bears situation and everything that's going on. So we'll keep you up to breast with all Bears and nothing but Bears. So that's on the Three Kings pod. And then, of course, me and Jason, we have the Big and Bright show. that we initially started out with. It's going on 3 years running. And then we took a break. Jason moved out to Arizona, but we're getting it back up and going now. But that is the Big and Bright show at Big_and_Bright on Twitter as well. Make sure you follow that, check us out, and that's it.
And that's good too if you're a Lions fan, because Jason's huge Lions fan.
Absolutely.
So just so if you're thinking like, I don't want to hear Chicago, but you want to hear Lions.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of people that will watch this will be Lions fans, because I know a lot of them are Michigan fans, like the University of Michigan football fans. So
I played there too. So
nice. They had that area had themselves a year.
Absolutely.
Like and well deserved. And you said you lived there, so well earned, well deserved. I was admiring and excited from afar. I always tell people, anytime you get Eminem and Barry Sanders together at the same place, I don't care where. I'm a fan. Like, sign me up. I just want to. I'll just sit back and be quiet. I just want to see it. So anyway. Nice. Yeah. So, well, awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining. Again, you didn't know me from a hole in the wall. Jason connected us, and I just appreciate that you were willing to come on, talk to me, deal with all of my technical difficulties that I'm having today. I'm a little bit of a mess. It is what it is. I pride myself on just always keeping it real. So here we are.
Right. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it. And I love to come on anytime. I'm here.
Yeah. I was just going to say, same with me. Like, I don't think we play each other this year.
No, we play each other next year.
Okay. But I was just going to say, like, I can come give a Justin Fields update, because if Russell Wilson doesn't do what he's supposed to do, we all know what time it is. We all know what time it is. So, absolutely. And I'm boycotting Steelers games because, I'm in my feelings as a fan right now. I'm in my feelings with them. They're not getting my money until I like the quarterback production, and until I feel like the offense, we have like a real offensive coordinator with real offensive play calls. Until I see that, I'm not going. But I would make an exception if I know it's Justin Fields' first start and I can make it. That I might come out of my feelings and say, you know what, guys? Let's go.
All right.
So we'll see. But anyways, thank you so much for joining. I will try to add all your information in the description. We'll work something out, and then I can add it. So when I release, it'll be there for people just to like easy click on it.
Okay.
Cool. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Take it easy.